I'd like to call this regular meeting of council for November 1st, 2022 to order at 7 p.m. We'll stay seated for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you very much. We'll move on to the mayor's address. Actually, before that, I'll do the land acknowledgement. As we gather this evening, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who've taken care of this land for thousands of years. I want to congratulate all the candidates who stepped forward and campaigned for a position on municipal council. It takes courage, passion for your community, and support from your family to make a commitment to represent your local municipality. I want to thank the residents of North Algona Wilberforce who supported the incumbent council members, electing us for another 4-year term. We have the opportunity to complete the projects that are currently in progress and update our strategic plan as we move forward. County Council will have a much different look as there will be 9 new members representing Renfrew County. There will be significant challenges as we continue to deal with new COVID variants, inflation, high interest rates, high fuel and heating costs, and supply chain shortages and delays. In addition, there is a local shortage of skilled workers, affordable housing, and timely medical care. The Rural Ontario Municipalities Association, or ROMA, has identified community development plans in a recent report, which will be highlighted at the next Teeny Tiny Summit. These plans are described as a community-driven strategic planning process relying on partnerships, commitment, and community assets all coming together to provide a clear and achievable path to success. We have evolved as an effective council and have the advantage of continuity for our staff and residents. I look forward to working with all of you for the next 4 years. And attached to the report is the ROMA report from County Council. And again, I just wanted to highlight that the community economic development strategy that they're proposing, to me, is a good plan because it involves communities working together instead of each of us trying to do our own plan. It brings communities together so that we can highlight all of the local strengths and talents and skills that can move a plan forward when it involves many more participants than just a single municipality. So can I get a mover and a seconder that the November 1st, 2022 mayor's address be accepted as presented? Moved by Councillor Rekishonko, seconded by Councillor Burns. Councillor Burns? Yes. Councillor Buchwald?
Yes.
Robinson? Yes. Councillor Rekishonko?
Yeah.
And yes, that's carried. Thank you. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none, then we'll move on to the adoption of the minutes. I have a resolution that the October 18th, 2022 public meeting and the October 18th, 2022 regular meeting minutes be approved as presented. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Rekishonko. Are there any additions, corrections, or omissions? Seeing none, Councillor Burns? Yes. Councillor Buchwald?
Yes.
Robinson?
Yes.
Councillor Rekishonko?
Yes.
And yes, that's carried. Thank you. We have no delegations, so we will move on to 7.1, which is the Public Works Report. A motion that council accepts the report as presented and directs the Public Works Superintendent to coordinate the required work to the 2001 Ford F-150. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Burns, seconded by Councillor Recchi-Schoenfeld. Comments, questions? Councillor Burns.
It says in here that the truck could be used for summer students. So the fire chief has nothing to be used for summer students.
I think this, I'll turn it over to staff because I think they have an explanation.
So this is the truck that is being repaired. So the motor and transmission is being removed from the end of the keep going. So the transmission and motor is being removed and being installed in a deep current of the works. That will be used by summer students and is expected to last an additional 4 years of this work being done.
So it's in addition to the fire chief will still have his own truck.
Yes.
He has a new truck now?
He has a upgraded or a repaired truck that came from the works.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions? Being none, Councillor Burns,
Yeah,
Councillor Buchwald,
yes,
Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Recchi-Schoenfeld.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's carried. Thank you. And then 7.2 is our tourism initiative. I have a resolution that council accepts the report as presented and approves the list of features to include in the township tourism map. And that council approves the official names as discussed for the 3 local sites to be included on the map. I'll get a mover and a seconder and then we can discuss. Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Recchi-Schoenfeld. Comments?
I would just like to get some elaboration from,
Sure, can we put that on? Okay, okay.
thanks.
Whoa. Tonight.
All right, so essentially, this is sort of like the amalgamation of actually 4 different grants, but specifically this part is about 2 different grants. Africa Transportation Hub Grant and the Ontario Highlands Tourism Organization Grant. So these ones, we need to spend money by December 31st. So decisions have been made. So just to sort of send through the conversation, create a community network of active and alternative transportation routes. cycling, equestrian, hiking, paddling, joining board state areas within the township. And coordinated tourism destination signage that is eye-catching, appealing, and culturally relevant to our communities, rest areas, highlighting natural and cultural features. So those are the mandates of the grants. And then this is the project plan. So for info board kiosks, you are here tourism map of the township with smaller maps of Golden Lake, most efficient kind of Wilkins Trail, 3 rest areas, a large wooden trailhead archway for the Wilkins Trail, 10 trails mapped, and 10 is a goal, mapped 2 already, but we will probably end up putting a few more, but 10 trails mapped by community groups with photos, videos, GPS coordinates, and printable maps available on the township website and discovermeaningful.ca. That's something that will have to be approved by council. Strava and all trails, and this part of the project is in partnership with Bogey Council, the Ottawa Valley. What is it? Cycling, yeah, cycling and active transportation alliance, like, sorry. And also the Elder Preppers program. So we wrote a letter of support for the Elder Preppers program by the Eganville District seniors. They ended up getting the funding, and now we partnered with their team to incorporate their trails and routes with our project. As well as an overflow parking lot at Shopwoods, and insurance approaches.
What is the rest area? What do they look like, or what's the vision?
So originally, like it is very big in the grant, so I had just envisioned kind of like almost like a gazebo with benches. But actually, now that we're more developed on the project, that part of it doesn't have to be done this winter. Like that. So we're gonna do that next summer, and as this part develops, it might change a little bit, but I actually imagine all 3 being totally different.
Okay.
Really dependent on where they're gonna be put.
I noticed when I drive in Whitewater, they have all of this, and we talked about that, but just like a little kind of seat, and it's got the Whitewater fire, and so whether you're on beach bird or whether you're on the top, I mean, anyway, I just thought an interesting way of driving.
No matter what, they're all gonna match, they're all gonna have like really good branding, they're all gonna have all matching signage, they're all gonna have the red tin roof and the, you know, just the look that we've been. So this is the Shawwoods overflow parking lot, it's complete. And this is today, a picture from today of the Tourism Information Center, which is being built out. So as you can see, they pulled the siding off of the hall entrance. It's gonna be a board and batten to match the timber posts. And then there's a breezeway so that people can access the bathrooms. And then a 14 by 12 booth, essentially. And it's gonna have the little cap with the bell inside, so we're estimating that.
And will the roof cover the breezeway as well?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it's all gonna match, like actually they're refacing the whole hall entrance, it's all like the whole. I mean, you may have like noticed that there was like some broken vinyl on the hall entrance before. So yeah, they just took out the whole thing, it's all gonna match. Yeah, so that's a little close up to give you a sense of, yeah, so the push button door has been installed, the electric hasn't been hooked up yet, because we're just waiting for the electrician, but. The door is installed, and then the asphalt that was existing makes up the breezeway. So you can get around the corner and access it, even if the Tourist Information Center was closed, although we designed it to be self. So that you don't have to have us out in there, but you know, for. You know, just safety and whatever, we want to be able to lock. And there's another perspective, so you can see the bathrooms. And all the vinyl on that side, there's a lot of broken cracks and places where maybe a rock has been or something, and so that's all gonna be replaced with board and bathroom. But that's kind of a fun before and after, so far. Okay, so that's that one for the project. Is there any questions so far? Okay, so for this part, this is the part that we need to get approvals on, the tourism map. So Jenny Townsend, who's the artist who did the revised logo, she has been engaged to do the tourism map. These are just 2 examples. The Texas example, I really like it, it's very colorful, well, they're both very colorful, but you can see it's not the scale. It's not intended to be a roadmap, it's intended to be a visualization and enticing for tourists. And you can see it highlights water features, physical elements, cultural elements, and you can see in places like in Austin, Texas, for example, they highlighted music and the Capitol building in Houston, Texas, they have the Cape Canaveral and NASA, you know, in San Antonio, they have cultural elements. So the town is, you know, it's actually this side, but it's been blown out to highlight some of its features. A lot of people look very amazing. And then I kind of like this titling and then we all of the orange and amplified it. And so that's sort of what we're going for. So you have to forgive my really, you have to forgive my really, okay. Jenny's gonna make a nice one, but generally the idea is that this area is where the titling, she's gonna create like a really beautiful titling there. Obviously highlighting the water features and then focusing on those 4 key areas. And then this space here, like you can see this is the map that we're used to seeing. In this space here, it's just going to be depicted as foreign. Same with, you know, around the edges, and then up in the top area, it's going to be farms, like red barns and fields and that kind of thing. So we'll have like a nice color palette, and then this area is going to be winter. Into so that we get a sense of the heat. So basically you can imagine like Golden Lake, that area is, there's just a lot condensed there, and there's a lot of elements that we want to highlight. So the village depiction is going to be sort of like this way, with an arrow or an indication that that's where it is. Same with vision park, even though we know that most of the vision park is on this side. This is where the picture is going to be, because you know we also have dollars and the town office and other elements. Any questions on this?
One big thing that's missing from the
What?
launcher case.
Okay, so Bonnefer caves is not purple dots. So these dots, Jenny's gonna draw a picture.
Oh, so the purple dots are destinations?
Yes, I'm going to scroll back to the example. So all of the things that are like a dot or triangle or star on my little thing, we just quickly did it in MS Paint. Are gonna be, Jenny is gonna hand draw something up. So he has, like, here's some cues like the drawing will be, a little gold lake's gonna be here. You know, it's just like, where, you know, this lake is gonna have a fishing boat. With some kind of, like, you can see there are these elements here. So those, like, or this one is more straightforward, like, so I just didn't do that. Be by the top or something like that. So yeah, I'm really trying to have the one.
And that's what you have when you have this, just like the big.
Yeah.
Those are gonna be the.
Exactly, yeah, so you wanna go actually. So this is the list that we'd like to get through, so I just gave the example of London, so you know, sort of just highlighting a few key elements, and you can see the name of the city of London. So to compare the city of London and the city of Perth, she is going to create an illustration that has a beautiful beach, a ball diamond, the renovated lodge, you know, volleyball nets. It'll be all illustrated like this, just like a lodge. And these 4, she's actually creating a separate piece of artwork that we can use other places. I don't know if I do that kind of thing. So those in the park will also create her painting to put at the park, the Wilkins Trail, the boat launch, and that will be as well. So those are going to cost more because they're a separate piece of artwork that you can use. So these are all going to be embedded in the map. So these are all elements that, like, these are going to be used on the map as well. These are embedded in the map. So size 2, it's not going to stay on the map. This is a size 2, this is a size 3, but just to give you a sense of how it's going to lay out. Because like I said, in a place like Golden Lake, there's so many elements condensed in that one spot that some of these are going to have to be smaller and correct. So Jawwoods, and we pass this look through like every second. So Jawwoods, Treatment Place, Beaver Park, Snow Drifters, Reagan Fire Hall, Bonnefer Caves, Island Beach. And just to give you kind of an example, because we're going for a bit of vintage aesthetic, we're going to fire hall will be 55 vintage, right? And large person. Okay. And then size 3, American Culture and Recreation Center, we wanted to do this one in winter to show, you know, that just that we can be so well known for skating and winter recreation. Circle for the Lodge, Florida Trail and Lovers Lane, these won't be named on there, but one of the reasons why we highlighted these 2 seasonal roads is because they're in an area on the map where there's not really anything. So, you know, pulling out the highlights, and Lovers Lane is really ideal for switching. So it'll just be indicated with switches, on, Deacon Fire Hall, and again, some Deacon Fire Halls in a place where there's just a lot of things, and it's gonna be smaller, township office, and long-term public libraries, which is different. And then the water. So just like take a minute to let it soak.
Did we even highlight all the boat launches or just a few?
Well, there's just a little bit of uncertainty about which ones are like a legal.
If I think everything was a vision of the boat launch, and you could put a little boat there.
It definitely will happen.
And then Peterman's Park.
Yeah.
You can have a boat launch, right? And then I know it's called Warren Bay, but I don't know. I mean, if you're putting little things on, it could be a little boat there.
You definitely will have.
And I'm not sure all the ones people. If you do one, one.
And there is sort of. That's, yeah, there's a beach, there's something with small little cities that can go, but the main one is the beach. Yeah.
There's a few, like, yeah, there's a few on Gold Lake, but some of them are private property or. Definitely, we're gonna emphasize our one, so obviously accessible public. Just like there's that little requirement may not be necessarily safe. Yeah,
I think.
Councillor Buckwald, do you have a comment?
Yeah, I missed most of that report because the audio was horrible. But I've heard that somebody was making comments about the beach. I have concerns about advertising the Island View site as a public beach, simply because we don't have the space there for parking or a safe space. Because again, that is used more as a boat launch than a beach. So I would be cautious about using, identifying that as a public beach.
So for that one, I guess we can go to the next part of the resolution. Because Island View Beach is on that list of things. Yeah. So essentially, as we were compiling the list, we realized there's a lot of things that don't have names, or don't have a name on Google, or maybe it's known by a different name. That's one thing. Can you hear me, Councilor Buckwald?
Very poorly. It's just ringing in the speaker. You're probably going to have, if I'm assuming you're sitting where you normally do,
No,
it might help if you.
I'm standing at the front, so maybe I'll go back over here. How is this better? This better?
That's a little clearer.
A little bit clearer? Okay, great. I'll send them through. So essentially, we noticed there were a few locations that either didn't have a name or have multiple names, that kind of thing. So for the map, obviously, we need to sort of nail those down. And let's start with the Island View location. So even at the site, I went to take photos. It has like multiple names right on the site on different sides. So I did talk to the Golden Lake Property Owners Association, and they said that that the public would benefit from some township development at the site, that it's a good place to bring family members. If maybe at your cottage you don't have a beach, you can go there. There's picnic tables, kind of open space. You're right about the parking. There's not really very good parking on site. It's yeah, anyway, so it's our only township owned property on Golden Lake, so it's something that. As we move forward is an asset we would like to grow. I did think about applying for a grant to move the road, actually. To make more space on the beach side, but that is like a potential future type of thing. Yeah, so it's attractive for tourists. And Golden Lake is, we don't have township owned property on Golden Lake in the village, unfortunately. So it's sort of the best that we have.
Yeah, I agree with the rationale that it is a good property. My concern is there's not a lot of room, again, off the road, as well as allowing for boats to put in and put out safely with families in the water. I would be more comfortable if we were using it only for one purpose or the other, as far as advertising goes, just simply for that reason.
So for the map, do you have any suggestions for how we label that township?
The only thing I could think there would be the Island View boat launch, which is how it's been referred to for many years. I know years ago when Goldcrest was still there, it was called the Goldcrest boat launch, even though it wasn't theirs. But I think Island View would be a more timely reference for people that would understand now coming to the area, whereas Goldcrest may not be something that people of, let's say, after my generation would be aware of.
Councilor Burke, you want to comment?
I was gonna say, we can leave that as a public beach. Because there's not very many people who want to do that. It's too sandy. Like there's no cement pattern, nothing for people back in. It's not used very often. For both lines.
Well, the
Just
one,
a small one.
yeah, the one in Peak certainly works much.
Oh,
better
yeah.
than both one. Just, I'm okay with Island View Park or Island View Beach.
Yeah, I mean, Island View Park leaves it kind of open on the map. So this is the thing, we have to decide what to print on the map before December 31st. If I had sort of thought about this before, I would have spent time in the summer just sort of observing how people use the site, but I, didn't think I didn't know we would get this grant. So just for the purposes of the map, we need to kind of nail down.
I would say.
Yeah.
Because then it leaves it.
There are, sorry,
Go ahead.
there are a number that do use it as a place to go swimming, so it is being used as a beach. Again, even if we were, when we did it, if we were to mark a very narrow spot where people were allowed to put their boats in, just so that there's some kind of demarcation between the two, I'd be okay with that. And it would just mean putting in some sort of small parking blocks or parking barricades so they can't back down where they're not supposed to, just for the sake of protecting the families that would be on the beach.
So Jennifer Rasp, our summer recreation coordinator, has some suggestions. I mean, it's all unofficial because it doesn't work anymore, but their family has a cottage close by, and they spoke with the neighbors and said that there might be a possibility of having some land there. I mean, I won't say any names sort of thing, but there might be a possibility that we could expand with parking or maybe even have a swim program there. That's what the Golden Lake Property Owners Association's request was, that we would split the swim program there, and that would be actually the only place it would be possible. So just something. And we also have to build a culvert there, so we will be actually doing some maintenance there because there's a water issue. So it's kind of just for thinking into the future, planning how we're going to use that space.
So just Island View Park does Council like that name or suggest a different name?
Well, it is more inclusive if we ever did develop it, then it could include a whole lot. And it's way to include a beach.
I mean, we have Melissa Bishop Park, which has a beach, so.
And
Yeah,
it's
so it's a
another one.
park, and then it can be, we can do more with it after that usage.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. Okay, that's good. All right, so the next one on the list is the boat launch at Beacon on Krantz Road. So it also doesn't have like a Google My Business profile. People just sort of know about it by word of mouth. And we actually did some consultations with Circle of Turtle Lodge, which is located right there. And when we were doing the renovations of the Golden Lake Hall, and they noted that actually the site where the boat launch is was a historical Algonquin site, and there was a archaeological dig where they had photos of fishing implements, which we could potentially make a display at the site. And yeah, so we're building some info panels there. So we did ask Circle of Turtle Lodge to provide a recommendation for a name, and they recommended the name Spirit Landing. And so we recommend Spirit Landing Boat Launch.
Council Buckwell?
Yeah, it's a very pleasant sounding name. But from my perspective, we should be promoting the culture of North Algona Wilberforce as opposed to the culture of the First Nations. And I realize that's going to make some people uncomfortable hearing that, but I have received a lot of concern calls, probably more than I've received for anything else in my time on council. When there was talk about naming things for things that they associate with the First Nations communities. And I tend to agree with them. From my perspective, it's our job and our role to promote North Algona Wilberforce Township. And that name really doesn't do anything for that. There's a lot more people that if you were to put that name on, it doesn't have any recognition with our township. But yet, if you put the Deacon Boat Launch, there's a lot more people are going to recognize that from the past and even going into the future, because people understand where Deacon is. So nobody's going to know where Spirit Landing is. So I'm opposed to that naming for that site.
From a tourism perspective, this has a lot of, I think it has a lot of potential. I understand, you know, yeah, there's a sort of a personal perspective, but just from an impersonal perspective, as a person in economic development, the draw of this, we receive a lot of students from the school board who come to Shaw Woods, for example, already, and I think that this would. Sorry, there's an error came up on the screen there. Yeah, so just we have a lot of students coming already on school trips and that kind of thing. So just the educational potential as a tourism site. Also, some of the trails that we're mapping going up Trademore, like I feel like this site is a potential for a lot of development. We're going to be putting one of the rest areas there. So if you just go with sort of the personal perspective, it might not capture the tourism potential that we're going for with this whole tourism plan. That's just sort of my perspective.
Councilor Robinson?
Couple of things. You said that it was a historical fishing site. So there's definitely got some documentation. So for tourism, if you were to include historical in it with the Deacon, it would still do the same thing. Because, you know, for those who are looking for something more than just a boat launch, would go there because it has historical significance. I think that would be much more capturing where it is and capturing the history behind it. But if I personally think if you put Spirit Land, nobody's gonna know. People that have been away and are coming back would be looking, oh, Deacon, oh, yeah, I know where it is. And, or they've got some historical stuff, then they would probably definitely want to do that. That would be my,
Councilor Richardson.
Would the word deacon be on that? I mean, there's a lot to a name, and I agree with you saying you're trying to capture tourism, maybe from outside, and it's never really had an official name. We just called it the Deacon Boat Launch because it's a boat launch in Beacon,
Or transfer.
you know? So I mean, if I see the word Deacon on there and I'm looking at the map and there's a big boat there, I'm gonna know it's a Deacon Boat Launch, and now it has the name of historical significance. Like, I mean, I do like the name, and I mean, if you talk to the people and they thought that was a suitable name, so, I mean, I do like that personally. As long as Deacon was there, people would know. Mhm. Because like you said, the map isn't to scale.
Right.
So you're not gonna take the map and say, oh, it must be only 5 minutes away. It could be 25 minutes away, right? It's like an informational map to show you the highlights of North Algona and Wilberforce, right?
It's supposed to entice.
Mhm. The thing- And like, when you look at those two examples from Florida and Texas, right? You know, it's gonna make you think and stuff, so. Anyway, that's my opinion, if we could have Deacon, we will saw on there, and then we also have it all that, way. People are gonna know. Especially if you have little towns up there saying, you know, what has been found and the significance and stuff like that.
The idea of the map is, yeah, as you said, it's not to scale, and in a lot of the criticisms of the Renfrew County roadmap that they've produced. It's that it's not visually appealing, it's not really necessarily useful as a roadmap or a tourism offering, it's sort of like halfway between each. And I just feel like if we just err on the side of just tourism for this, then, you know, we do have that resource, and also people don't necessarily use a paper map the way that they used to, so it really is visual, and it's to center, like, it's to center North Algona as with a discrete identity. As Councilor Buckwald mentioned, you know, creating an identity that is visible, that is tangible, that is, you know, just wholesome, so that was the intention.
Do you need a decision tonight?
Yeah, because I'm meeting with Genevieve on Thursday. So. Yeah, ideally, yeah, we would, I mean, like, if we wanted to wait, if there was a reason to wait, I mean, we could like give her half the information, but it would be best if I just delivered everything at once. So she can get.
Councilor Buckwald?
I think maybe an alternative. We have Melissa Bishop Park, we have Island View Park. What about Deacon Park? Which would comprise of a boat launch and a rest station. And then we could still put the information kiosk there and use the Spirit Landing reference in that with the historical information, not only about the First Nations items there, but also the value that site had for the settlers in the area. As again, it was a route to get over the river, to be able to move the highway west, to be able to move goods, to be able to move people. I think what we're doing is we're speaking a lot about our neighboring communities' history, but we're neglecting speaking about our own. And I think we need to have that value of our own history, that value of our past and the contributions that were made by the settlers as well. If we're really going to have an identity for our township. And I think if we go outside the community to try and find that identity, I think we're doing a disservice to our own history and to our future, because our tagline is, you know, preserving the past, developing the future. Well, let's get our past in there.
Well, Circle of Turtle Lodge was founded in Deacon and actually brought a lot of renown to our township. And a lot of people are excited or, impressed to discover that Circle of Turtle Lodge is located in North Algona Wilberforce Township. So, and the members are not affiliated with any other township and people who live within this township. So it is a rather large cultural group within the township, but I do think that your suggestion works really well. So, yeah, with the park, because we do want to develop the park. That's another part of this, because it's kind of an undeveloped site.
So we're gonna call it Beacon Park. That was your suggestion, Councilor Buckwell, Beacon Park.
I'm thinking Beacon Park, because again, the other sites that we have, they have a beach. We don't have a beach at this site because of the river, but we do have the boat launch there. And if we have a boat launch continue to have it at Island View, I think it would be appropriate for the area.
Okay. I put down Beacon Park.
All right, and then the third one is Melissa Bishop Park. So this is the lodge that's being renovated, formerly known as the Cottage or Dance Hall. And again, Circle of Turtle Lodge proposed the name Manneman Lodge, which means Wildlife Lodge. Other possible names could be Melissa Bishop Lodge or Lake Joy Lodge. These are just kind of random names that I pulled out of a hat. So if anyone has any suggestions, feel free.
Councilor Buckwell.
Yeah, my comments would be the same as the other one. Let's focus on something that relates to our township. So because we've named that site Melissa Bishop Park, and it's been referred to as Melissa Bishop Cottage from time to time, I think something more along that lines, or I don't know, Olympic Lodge, Park Cottage Lodge, or Township Lodge. But again, I think it needs to be something indicative of NAW as opposed to a neighboring community.
Councilor Robinson.
I'm voting for Lake Dory Lodge.
That's my preference as well. I like Lake Victoria Lodge.
Simple, direct, and we know where it is.
That works for me.
Councilor Ricky Schultz.
Yeah, I'm good with that one too.
Councilor Burke. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's express my appreciation because I'm sure it is not a very easy thing to just pull out of your hat. So I extend my appreciation for the work that goes into it. That's fine.
So the three names I have, Island View Park, Beacon Park, and Lake Dory Lodge. I will call the vote. Councilor Burke. Yeah. Councilor Buckwell.
Yes.
Councilor Robinson.
Yes.
Councilor Ricky Schultz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carried. Thank you. Item number 9.1 are the non-actions. That's correspondence items. I have the resolution correspondence items 9.1 to 9.1.9 be accepted as information. Can I get a mover in the seconder? Moved by Councilor Burns, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Councilor Burns. Yeah. Councilor Buckwell.
Yes.
Councilor Robinson.
Yes.
Councilor Ricky Schultz.
Yeah.
There, thank you. Item 9.2.1 is the Legion Remembrance Day wreath donation. I have a motion that council directs the purchasing of, and there's a blank, either one or two Remembrance Day wreaths to honor the men and women that have served from this community and across Canada, and that the cost does not exceed $200. I believe last time we had two wreaths. Do we want to stick with two, or do we want to go to one, or? Councilor Robinson.
Why did we go with two?
I don't remember why we chose two. Councilor Buckwell.
I believe normally we would lay one in the ceremonies in Eganville, and we would normally also send someone to lay one in Pikwakanagan at their ceremonies as well.
Maybe you're right, yes, thanks for refreshing my memory, and I know the Legion is having the indoor in-house ceremony this year. And normally one counselor does attend with Pikwakanagan, so yeah, I think the two wreaths are appropriate. Any other comments? Do I have a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Bird, seconded by Councillor Buckwell. Councillor Burns?
Yeah.
Councillor Buckwell?
Yes.
Councillor Robinson?
Yes.
Councillor Rakichanko?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's carried. Item 9.2.2 is the Eganville and District Seniors. I have a motion that council acknowledges the active fair invitation from the Eganville and District Senior Needs Association and authorizes Councillor Blank as the representative from the township to speak at the fair. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councillor Buckwell, seconded by Councillor Robinson. So we just have to figure out which counselor can fill in. I can't, I'm in Ottawa that day, so I can't make it. And what's the date again?
November 17th.
November the
Which day is
17th.
that?
I believe that's a Thursday.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm working that day.
That's fine.
Councillor Robinson is volunteering. Okay,
Better remember.
Put it in your calendar.
What's that?
Put it in your
Right
calendar.
now, the calendar is getting loaded.
so I'll call the vote. Councillor Burns? Yeah. Councillor Buckwell?
Yes.
Councillor Robinson?
Yes.
Councillor Rakichanko?
Yeah.
Yeah. Terry, thank you.
But they already had it in there.
And item 9.2.3 is the Roma Conference, January 22nd to the 24th, 2023. I have motion council direct staff to register the following members of council for Roma 2023. Are you gonna move in a seconder? Moved by Councillor Rakichanko, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Councillor Robinson, you're registered.
That would be.
I'm registered already through the county. Any other councillors? Looks like it's just Councillor Robinson, so I'll call the vote. Councillor Burns? Yes. Councillor Buckwell?
Yes.
Councillor Robinson?
Yes.
Councillor Rakichanko?
Yeah.
Yes, it's carried. Thank you. We have no bylaws tonight. Are there any matters of urgency? Any notice of motions?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councillor Buckwell.
Yes, I'd like to bring the motion forward at the next meeting to have staff proceed with improving the audio quality within the council chambers.
Okay. Staff has made a note of that. Upcoming meetings and unfinished business. So November 15th, 2022 is our inaugural council meeting, beginning at 6:30 p.m. November 15th, 2022 is then the regular council meeting following the inaugural. And December 7th, 2022 is the staff council relations training from 9 in the morning till 1 p.m. And I believe that's at Eagles Nest in Eganville. And then I have a motion that council go into closed session pursuant to section 239(2)(b)(c)(k) of the Municipal Act. One, proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality or local board. Plans and instructions for negotiations, and two, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. And I get a mover and a seconder, moved by Councillor Byrne, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Well, council will go into closed session at 7:51 p.m. Councillor Burns.
Yeah.
Councillor Buchwald,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld,
Yeah.
and a yes. Carried, thank you. Are we good? Okay, so item 16.1, I have a motion that council direct staff proceed as directed in regard to land acquisition in closed session. So I have a mover and a seconder, moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld. Councillor Burns.
Yeah.
Councillor Buchwald,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld. I'm a yes. Carried, thank you. Item 16.2 is a community grant application. I have a motion that council approves the Girl Guides of Canada community grant application for in-kind use at the Golden Lake Community Hall every Tuesday evening from November 2022 to November 2023, unless required on such evening for municipal purposes. I have a mover and a seconder, moved by Councillor Buchwald, seconded by Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld. Councillor Burns.
Yeah.
Councillor Buchwald,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld,
Yes.
I'm a yes. Carried, thank you. Finally, we are at our confirmatory bylaw. I have a motion that bylaw 2022-59 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council for November 1st, 2022. We read it first and second time this first day of November 2022. And I'm going to move in a seconder, moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Burns. Read it third time and finally passed this first day of November 2022. Councillor Burns.
Yeah.
Councillor Buchwald,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld.
Yeah.
I'm a yes. Carried, thank you. Finally, we have a motion that this November 1st, 2022 regular meeting of council adjourns at 8:32 p.m. Moved by Councillor Robinson, seconded by Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld. Councillor Burns.
Yes.
Councillor Buchwald,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Reggie Schoenfeld.
Yeah.
I'm a yes. Carried, thank you. We're adjourned.